Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the weekly for the sign of Aquarius. This is going to be for November 3rd, which is today, all the way through to November 9th, okay? So, my lovely Aquarius, for those of you who are used to my channel, we're going to go ahead and pull out your romance angel messages for the week. And then we're going to get right into your animal spirits, all right? After that, we will pull out your 3-card forecasts for the week, all right? And I do thank you for stopping by. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're a regular, of course, I love you and welcome again. Children, factoring into your relationships this week, true love, romance of a lifetime, and we have letting go of control issues, right? Allow the situation to unfold naturally. All right, so before we know what that's going to mean for you, let's go ahead and get right into your animal spirits for the week, Aquarius. And see what kind of spirits you may be walking with. Now, animal spirits can indicate energies that have become available to you. They can indicate stages in your life that you may be entering into, or personalities or characteristics of people that you may be encountering, or that you may have a dynamic with, all right? And again, just take what applies to you, Aquarius, and if it doesn't apply to your situation, it's not for you, okay? Straight out, we have the elephant. Beautiful. Wondering when he was going to show up, of course, associated with abundance and wisdom. The lizard, fire energy, more fire energy. And we have the eagle. Wow. Very strong, powerful energy. All right. So let's get right into your animal spirits. The elephant is a fire elemental animal spirit, and the elephant is associated, of course, with the Hindu god Ganesh. He's associated with bringing in abundance and wisdom, but of all things, the elephant is the great destroyer of obstacles, right? Elephant energy is very, very strong, very, very it's an unstoppable force that comes into your life, right? When elephant energy is resonating, it seems to, you can seem to see like obstacles just suddenly disappearing out of your way, or being really forcefully knocked out of your way, almost in a way, almost through energies that have nothing to do with you, right? It almost seems as though it's a divine spirit that's coming in and clearing the way for you. In the wild, the elephant oftentimes will knock down trees to clear a path, or will also sometimes knock down trees to kind of guide you down the right path. So sometimes, although the elephant is the destroyer of obstacles, sometimes he puts smaller obstacles in your way that kind of nudge you closer to the path that you should be on. Of all things, though, the elephant brings with this destruction of obstacles, it ushers in abundance, money, wealth, and wisdom. With the money and wealth comes the wisdom to know what to do with it. And understanding comes with it, experience comes with it. This is really, really strong, beautiful energy for a very prosperous time, spiritually and physically, to come into your life. The elephant was very, very strong about a month or two ago in the readings, and I think that was when the road began towards our ultimate end of the year, which December proves to be very, very powerful, very strong for bringing in financial abundance. The lizard is a fire animal as well, and the lizard almost has a sixth sense. It is the absolute master of extrasensory perception. Highly instinctual, right? The lizard is so instinctual that it can almost see things before they manifest. It can hear things before they have actually been uttered. And so it's a very magical quality of the lizard. It's very borderline clairvoyant. However, this energy can really overstimulate and wear the lizard down. Okay, and for those of you who may be resonating with this, sometimes if this is the type of person you are, if you have this quality about yourself and you're feeling overstimulated, over sort of worn out, right? tired, fatigued, etc. Because of all of the extra sensory stimulus coming in, it's time for you to sort of separate, detach yourself from all of the hubbub, the chaos, the bright lights, and everything coming in, and kind of pull yourself back into a quiet place where you can begin to sort of calm that fire down. Now the eagle is the great truth seeker. It's very, very powerful. Represents mastery over fire and air, the eagle. It is an air elemental spirit, but with the eagle comes in a huge amount of strength in these areas. And the eagle often comes in when we're about to really be thrown into a strong karmic testing period, and we're really called upon to be the best version of ourselves. This could be in the face of really difficult times, right? Really difficult I want to say chapters in our life that challenge us in a way. It's not easy to be our best selves, right? There's challenges, but in an effort to be honest, in an effort to seek truth in all things, and certainly to be truthful to yourself, the eagle comes in very strong, very spiritually strong, very physically strong, and of course it has an objective it's trying to realize, right? But the only way it can do that is to be absolutely true to itself and to be the best that it can be. And so right now, for some of you Aquarius, life is calling on you to bring your A+ game, right? All right, so let's get right into your 3-card spreads for the week, Aquarius. We're going to pull out anywhere from 4 to 8 3-card spreads for you. These forecasts may or may not resonate with you, and they won't be, they may or may not be related, right? One forecast may be for one Aquarius, and another forecast will be for a different Aquarius going through something completely different. So again, just take what applies to you, and if it doesn't apply, let it fly. All right, guys? After this will be Pisces, and then we'll be done with the weeklies, and then I will carry on with the November love readings, and I'll probably be premiering a few more November love readings tonight as well. So straight out the gate, we have Death, 9 of Swords, and Judgment. All right, let's move this up a bit and get right into it. Some of you are, of course, having a week. Death and the Elephant really do go hand in hand in a lot of ways because of transformation. Obstacles have been cleared for your transformation, and so it happens. Death comes in, and it really indicates a pervasive transformation, one that affects your physical, your environment, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual health and well-being in a good way, right? Generally, death comes in when transformation is needed, change is needed, but it's very, very pervasive. And along with the elephant, the fact that these two are sort of combined, we're talking about transformation, getting rid of the old to usher in the abundance, right? The new abundance that is certainly meant to come in, right? Now, this is how you entered the week, with a lot of change. Also, with the eagle, again, eagle energy comes in, like I said, when we are thrust into sort of like a karmic storm, where we really have to be on top of ourselves and the actions that we take. And this can come in the form of death as well, this transformation. You're met with a 9 of Swords. Now, 9 of Swords can be very regretful. For some of you, a big transformation is happening in your life, but it is bringing with it a certain amount of regret and guilt. Okay, this could be that you guys, some of you Aquarius, you may be, the transformation may include a split, right? It may include a separation from someone where you have finally had to perhaps let go of control issues and just let it out, play out naturally. And of course, part of that natural sort of progression, right? Change is coming in. And it feels almost like, this week you're kind of like, you knew this change was coming, but it still feels like a bit regretful. It still feels a bit sort of sad for you. You mourn it a little bit. It's kind of like One of those relationships where you've been trying everything to make it work, and finally you let go of trying because you know it's just not going to work. And then the inevitable happens, which it changes, and perhaps your life changes, you may split. The change is for the better, but it's still hard nonetheless. And still, you're then left with that feeling of, yeah, I knew that I had tried my best, and I knew that that it wasn't going to work out, but it hurts nonetheless, right? I still, mourn the loss of it. Sometimes I want to say, for some of you who are going through divorce or separation, one thing that a lot of people don't understand is that even if you're the one who's instigated the divorce or separation, if you've done it, even if you're leaving a relationship that is toxic, right? Or you're leaving a relationship that was negative and you're coming into a positive phase in your life, it doesn't change the fact that you're going to experience some regret. You're going to experience some sorrow because it's still the loss of something that at one point you thought you were going to have forever. Right? It's still the loss of a commitment or an endeavor. A marriage or a relationship is a commitment. And when it falls apart, we oftentimes feel like a failure, even though we know that the relationship wasn't going to work, or we've seen the signs, we've seen the writing on the wall and the signs. We still have that regret. And that's what this feels very much like. It feels very much like you just coming to terms this week with a situation that really needed to change, that really needed to come to an end, I want to say, and make way for the new. But then you have a judgment coming in this week, and judgment talks about letting go of guilt. So this 9 of Swords, this guilt, this sorrow, this regret that you're going to feel through this process will leave. And by the end of the week, and maybe even into next week, you will begin to let go of it. You will begin to let go, because this is just the initial shock of the change, right? The initial mourning process. But you do very quickly go into a place where you realize it's not your fault. You have nothing to feel guilty about. And all of this was really necessary, right? And so you kind of let go, and you're able to finally move on from this situation. 9 of Wands, Justice, and 4 of Pentacles. Some of you are entering this week with a feeling of really reevaluating the most recent difficult time that you've had in life. You've really been on a path that's caused you a lot of struggle. There's been a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of burden, right? 9 of Wands talks about a burden that you've been carrying for a long time, and you start to realize that it is a burden. You start to see it for what it is. Some of you may have even been in hanged man energy, but now you kind of wake up and you realize, wow, it's time for me to really bring this to an end. I see how strongly this situation or this stage in my life has affected me, but I'm coming to a place where I'm ready to lay it down. I'm ready to say goodbye to this, to the suffering, and to the burdens, right? Justice comes in for you this week, and I want to say, for some of you, justice is a rebalancing that comes in, but some of you may indeed be waiting for an actual decision to happen this week, some kind of judgment to come in, a rendering, some kind of official decision, judgment, document, what have you, right? Decree, whatever the case may be. And you're waiting for this, I think, before you can completely lay this burden down. It could be a divorce that you're waiting for, or a separation agreement, right? You could be dealing with child support issues or child custody issues, right? And it's been a long struggle, and you're waiting for this decision that's going to come in and kind of bring balance back into your life. At the end of the week, you do, however, and whether or not this decision comes in or not, I'm going to say you are very focused with it this week. Perhaps you may be working on something to do with this decision, or this official kind of event that you're waiting for. You may be talking to people, talking to lawyers, or what have you, or you may just be getting an update, right? But whatever the case may be, this is going to be the focus of your week in a lot of ways, and the energies around this event will be coming into you. It'll be coming into you in a way to let you know that it's almost over. You're almost at the 10 of Wands, which you will be able to lay down your burden. You end the week with a 4 of Pentacles, which is just putting you a little bit in an anxiety mode for money, financial issues. It could very well be that, yes, now you're waiting. For instance, an example could be that this decision, right? Say it's a divorce decree or separation agreement, for instance, right? You're waiting for that to lay down this burden, but perhaps information comes in, the decision may indeed come in, or information about how it's going to go comes in, and it leaves you with kind of like a feeling of, all right, now comes the financial part. Now comes the time where perhaps I'm going to have to worry about finances. I may have to work on that area. It could be that the decision does come in this week and leaves you a little bit feeling like your finances are threatened. Four of Cups certainly indicates anxiety and wanting to hold on to financial stability in the light of threats, right? Things that come to threaten it, right? And so, yeah, for some of you, this period is not quite over. You still have a little bit more to go through in terms of reestablishing your sort of financial stability and getting through this decision phase. Temperance energy, Sagittarius coming in, 8 of Cups, and the Sun. So for some of you, you entered this week really feeling very tempered and calm. There's a particular situation that's really calling on you to really focus all your energies. And in a lot of ways, it's eagle energy in the sense of, bringing your A game, right? Bringing your best foot. Putting your best foot forward, bringing your best game, being the best version of yourself. And a lot of this includes also temperance, right? Not allowing people to get you off your focus or off your square. 8 of Cups, you're met with an 8 of Cups, and I think for some of you, you realize that you've really been putting too much energy into relationships that aren't worth it. You've been pouring too much of your emotions and love into empty cups, or into cups that just aren't giving you anything back. And these are people or relationships that, are shallow. They really are always kind of like crossing the line with how much energy they're taking from you. You realize it's time to put up some boundaries. It's time to enforce some boundaries and make sure that people respect them. Right? And that they're not just constantly pulling energy from you. This feels very much like lizard too. For some of you, you may have this special quality and people are just constantly pulling on that energy. You feel drained and you realize enough is enough. You end the week with the Sun energy, which is very kind of like reaffirming that you've made the right decision. You've let go of some control issues, or you've dealt with others who have been controlling, and you've stopped allowing them to control you or your life or your relationship, right? And you very quickly, by the end of this week, get a lot of affirmation coming in, confidence comes in, and things begin to work out for you because you've made the right step towards regaining strength and authority in your life and your love life. Ace of Wands, 6 of Swords, and King of Swords. Wow. Okay, this is going to be the last spread. Ace of Wands talks about coming in this week for some of you. Excuse me. For some of you, you are going to be either starting a new relationship or starting a new adventure in your life, right? You're going to be starting, it's a new love, it's a new stage in life. This feels very much a stage, again, like some of you are getting away from perhaps toxic environments or relationships, or you're coming out of a toxic stage in your life and it's like everything is new, the possibilities are endless. You feel very positive and motivated to move forward with your ambition, right? To move forward with your life, right? This could be an example, could be if you've been in an abusive relationship for a while, you now are at a stage where it's behind you, you have your children, and you're able to go forward without worrying about it anymore. You feel absolutely free to finally have that creative life that you want to have. You get met with a 6 of Swords, which is really lovely also. This is very harmonious energy. There are people around you, I want to say, who are supporting this new stage of your life. They're really being very, I want to say, emotionally supportive and mentally supportive. It's almost, for some of you, I'm going to say, like you've even gotten yourself perhaps into a community of people who have gone through perhaps the same thing you have, and you guys are all helping each other out. It's like the beginning of a much more harmonious stage in your life, and you're really just starting that. And you feel really good about it. You're turning your back on arguing and fighting. You finally really gotten control over your destiny, where you want to go, rather than being kind of bounced around by life and other people's sort of manipulation, right? You end the week with a King of Swords, and I want to say for some of you, you end the week very much regaining your authority, regaining sort of a sense of strength, clear thinking, where perhaps you may have been in a situation before that was very negative and also left you with a very confused state of mind. You weren't able to make decisions very well. You end this week and you end this process, and even if it's not this week or maybe next week perhaps, but this process, putting behind you all of the turmoil that you've been through and this new start in your life really gives you a strong sort of like confident feeling. And you really attack, I want to say you really come into this sort of space where you don't tolerate any kind of lies or bullshit. It could be that you have been dealing with that for so long that you almost swing to the other side and you become a little bit harder than you normally would be. King of Swords is fiery aspect of air, so this is also very in line with your energy, Aquarius, you being an air sign. But just take care that you don't become too rigid, or that you don't, that you don't swing from the one, which was really kind of more like being victimized, to the other side where you're just too hard. You may be too critical of people, right? I think your guard is up justifiably, right? But just take care that that doesn't get too sort of, I want to say, out of balance, right? The King of Swords is a very strong king, but he can get quite out of balance. He can be kind of overcritical, over-judgmental, quick to sort of come to conclusions, and in a way become overly rigid, right? So just take care with that. But for the most part, Aquarius, a lot of you are very much getting back control of your life, and it feels great. Very eagle energy, very strong. And certainly elephant is at play because a lot of the obstacles in the way to this have been cleared. All right, guys? So this is your reading, November 3rd to the 9th for Aquarius. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell so you know when I'm uploading or premiering. I do premiere all my videos now so that I can be there to answer questions and all of that. If you want a private reading, of course, you can follow that link at the top of the screen. But for right now, Aquarius, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.